What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Item 9 Gaming. Gabe and Carter here, and today we've got a special review for you guys. We're taking a look at Watch Dogs Legion. That's right, the new open world hacker RPG from Ubisoft, but more importantly, made right here in our backyard by Ubisoft Toronto. These guys have been working on this game for about 5 years now, which is pretty incredible. I mean, they showed it off at E3 2019, and they garnered a lot of awards from that, and I think that this game has been something a lot of people have been looking forward to. I know I definitely was.
Sure.
And thank you for them for providing us a review code so we could check out the game. And I mean, I just have had a fantastic time with this game. You know, it starts off with you now playing and being a part of the London chapter of DedSec. And now you're sort of rebuilding this sort of resistance because there are many forces trying to take over London. There's a private police corporation called Albion, and that's headed by Nigel Cass, and they're sort of going through the city of London. They're harassing the inhabitants, and there's a lot of CCTV and monitoring, and it's a lot of like Big Brother Orwellian sort of stuff going on here. And there's a lot of things that deal with a post-Brexit England and London as well. You know, there's a lot of talk about immigration. There's a whole, side story and subplot that focuses on human trafficking by this gang that's headed by the terrifying Mary Kelly. And there's a whole bunch of stuff and stories in this game that's like massive callbacks to like pop culture, like Black Mirror or Mr. Robot. And I mean, it's handled so well, especially with them emphasizing on this whole mechanic of you being able to recruit anybody in the game and play as them. This is the big mechanic that they're sort of focused on, the fact that every NPC sort of has a little bit of a backstory and their own play style, and it really opens up how you can play this game into sort of a more of an open world sandbox type, giving you sort of the flexibility and freedom to take on these different missions as whoever you really want. So I think that's really cool. And I mean, I've been having a great time playing it.
Walking into Watch Dogs Legion, I've definitely very much had a love-hate relationship with the series. I've always loved the idea of a dystopian future, like how you were saying, everything's controlled by the government with the CCTV watching you. I always loved like how that was played out, and even with like the underground, it was like this whole feeling of just how crazy it all was. And not even just that, like how much they improved upon the hacking system from the first Watch Dogs. It feels so smooth. Like it felt kind of like blocky at first. It didn't feel as natural, but now like when I'm driving, I can just be like, boom, get out of my way, car. Boom, get out of my way, just moving all the cars out of the way, traffic, and going into operations with whatever way you want, going in all James Bond and John Wick with the spy, boom, 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 headshot. So it was really good, It was very much definitely an improvement, and I was surprised and delighted by how it played out.
Yeah, I truly enjoyed the mission structure of this game. I mean, they really give you the tools to play the way you want to. I mean, you can go into a mission, as you said, as a, one of the things that I did was recruit an Albion guard. You're able to infiltrate the different Albion buildings, and you're able to get in there with easier access, sort of like, and it sort of plays like a hitman. And whereas, you've got your disguises on essentially. And then there's times where, you want to get somewhere high and you're like, oh, maybe I need to play as a construction worker and summon a cargo drone, so you're using it to get to high spaces. And then there are different sort of puzzles in the game, the different hacking mechanics. You've got your basic, tap L1 to quickly open a door or something like that, make the cars go or whatever like that, disable drones. But then, you've got the different puzzles where you're connecting different, I don't know, whatever it is, like cables, well, not cables, but fiber optics or whatever shit that is. I mean, it varies enough that it makes it interesting. You're going from like large set pieces and whatnot to like, just tiny little consoles, hacking, like downloading data and stuff like that. So I think that it's really cool, and there's a lot of hard work that's went into how they designed the city itself. And I mean, it feels lived in. I mean, There's lots of things that you can do around the map. I mean, there's drone races, and you can play darts, and there's the different customization of your character at the shops. I think that was really something that was a big part of making this game stand out from the others. The first one was really boring after a point. I mean, the world of Chicago really felt drab. I didn't play Watch Dogs 2, but this one I feel like they've really hit their stride on it.
Yeah, I really got that too. Like, I really loved, the idea of just creating your own legion, and rising up against as we've been talking about, the oppression. And in this game, you really feel for how oppressed these people have become. Walking down, you'll see Albion guards beating people on the street or have them handcuffed, and you really want to free these people, and it makes you feel like everybody in the world can be a part of the revolution. We can rise up against oppression, and we can be that liberating force, and we all have our own unique abilities. And some of us may have things like, some people, the old people, may walk slow, but like it's still fun to walk around with the granny and choke somebody out or something, so everybody can be a superhero, and everybody can accomplish what they want to and overcome their difficulties. So
definitely, I think that whole mechanic works so well, because like there are certain archetypes that that most of the characters follow, but it varies enough that it keeps it interesting. And I think it's like, there is the option that you can play with permadeath, and then you can either choose to turn that off, and then what happens is once that character's died, they're gone forever. Or if you choose not to play with it on, that if you die with a character or something like that, it's either that they're arrested or that they're in the hospital, and then you're unable to use them for a certain amount of time. I think that's really cool. It doesn't really enable you to really upgrade specific characters in that sense, because it wants you to play with different ones. But the way that it works, where it's like you have to kind of explore the map to get the tech points, I think that works really well in their favor, where it's like you're not just like going for special kills or something like that. You're really encouraged to explore London. So I think that's really interesting.
And something cool I found too, like what you were saying with the permadeath, is even when you have permadeath off, like you'll find certain people, like the first B girl I got, her thing was randomly dies, and I was like, what? And so like I played as her, and I like the first time I died, it was just like boom, she died. I was nah, like what? And I was like, but like I thought that was kind of cool, because like she's such a good ability, and there's other ones that I could get. I didn't get the one that you have to get for capturing burrows, but it was really cool, like that some of even these people that have the really good abilities can have a downfall, so
this game is great, but it's not to say it doesn't go without its flaws as well. I mean,
all flawed.
Exactly. And I mean, there's a lot of parts in this game where it's like I noticed there's a lot of audio bugs.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was one part where I was doing the early access live stream where it was like a car was clipped into the ground, and I kind of couldn't progress in the mission. And I've had to restart a few times and reload my game, and that was one thing that kind of made me excited to play these on next gen, because these load times are getting longer and longer. These open worlds are getting more expansive and larger, and there's so much content, and it's like sometimes I'm waiting in most of these games. There's more time me waiting in load screens than there are me actually playing the game. And I think that's something to look forward to when we eventually get to play these on next gen. I mean, that's something I'm really excited to see, is notice the load times. But other than that, I think this was a really fantastic game. I really think that this has really elevated the Watch Dogs franchise for me as well. And I think it's time we rate the game, Carter. If you had to rate it, what would you give it, Carter?
I'm gonna have to give this game 7.5 Spider-Bots out of 9. Because why? Because Adam 9 is the bee's knees.
Adam 9 is the bee's knees, and 9 is the highest our scores can go, as well as 9 being the highest we've ever been. But if I had to rate this game, I definitely would give it 4 Chris Hemsworth Black Hat Hackers out of 5. So with that being said, guys, Watch Dogs Legion, it's out now. If you haven't played it, go get your hands on it. This is a fantastic game, so congratulations to all the awesome people at Ubisoft Toronto and all the other studios who worked on this game. You really made something fantastic here, and we can't wait to get our hands on the next-gen version of these games so we can play it some more, and hopefully we can take back London. And thanks, guys, for watching. You can be sure to see more reviews coming soon from us, whether it be our next-gen consoles or games, that are just coming out this week. AC Valhalla, we're looking at you.
Watch out.
But until then, guys, you got to remember, Item 9 Gaming, it's the bee's knees.